Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to You've Championed Yourself. Who are you? I'm Chris Ferguson, your host, and it has been a dream of mine to showcase ordinary people doing extraordinary things for themselves in their life and for others. Those who have taken their dreams and ideas, then turned it into their reality, they've accomplished more than most people understand. As they reach beyond their personal struggles or personal pains or traumas, where so many had given up, these people didn't lose hope. There are those few that walk past their obstacles or challenges, not knowing where it's going to take them. They just trust themselves enough to do the follow through in their personal life, their career, and in relationships. And this is what I call a champion of life. Today, we have an amazing woman here. I'm really excited to have her here. She's a shamanic practitioner, but she does many other things. She's created some interesting stuff. So let's welcome Cheryl Stelte to the podcast.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you for having me here.
Oh, you're so welcome. You're so welcome. And did I pronounce your last name correct?
It's Stelte.
Okay. That was the other thing I wanted to ask before, but we got sidetracked. But anyway, Cheryl, I usually start out when I'm talking to my guests and helping my audience figure out who they are and what they're about. Can we talk about your backstory?
Absolutely. It was, I went on a spiritual path more than 27, probably 28 years ago. And it began, I was suffering from depression and I hadn't, I had recently been on antidepressants and I was on the beach. A friend of mine was doing kinesiology on me and my deceased brother visited us. And neither of us had ever had an experience like that before. So it was pretty wild. And he had a message for me. And that was to start meditating. I had never considered meditating before that. And as soon as I went back into town, I was out of town at the time, and I found a meditation class and started meditating. And then later read a number of books, did a number of programs. And within just a few months, I was able to get off the antidepressants that I hadn't been on for very long and never became depressed again. So my spiritual journey was really to, I didn't even realize it was to help me get over that depression. And then my life really started to change. I started to go through my own healing and empowerment journey. And so that's how it all started. And that's what I do today is I help people with healing and empowerment.
I love that. I love the fact that to get from, and most people don't understand in healings, it's not just like that. It's actually a process. It's actually the shadow work that you have to go through and walk through that shadow work to bring you out on the other side and realize, wow, I'm not as bad as I thought I was. I'm actually pretty valuable. I'm actually I understand my worth. And those are journeys that you were talking on when you went through your spiritual journeys. You had like 3 separate incidents. Can we talk about those incidents that you said that you had a spiritual experience?
Well, yes, I've had multiple spiritual experiences, and they all, it's all in divine timing, and everything leads us, like you say, it's a journey. And I think the big thing is that I learned along the way at some point. Initially, I was on the journey just for healing. Didn't even think of empowerment. It was very much really just the healing. And I went through enough of that. And then I started to feel more empowered. And so it's not so much the big, it's not worth it to just heal, because we sort of stay in the mindset or the heart set that there's something wrong with me, or I'm not, the not good enough or the unworthiness. And actually moving into empowerment is a very strong part of the healing and the self-discovery and our greatness. We are all here to step into our greatness. And that's what led me to develop energy healing program. And the throat chakra program was developed, what I realized, I was doing energy healing. I started with shamanic work. I studied many different modalities. And I realized so many people that came to me had throat chakra issues. I thought, wow, this is one common denominator. And guess who else has had major throat chakra issues? And I was able to heal my throat chakra and become empowered. And so that's what led me to write my first book. My first book, I thought, would be on shamanism through the heart, but upon inner reflection, meditation, I was so strongly guided to speak about the throat chakra and the importance. And so many people think that, to heal the throat chakra, you work directly on the throat chakra, and it's not true. Most healing originates in the root chakra. You always have to start at the bottom and create a new foundation, as you know, Chris. And so that is, it's a fundamental basis for all the work that I do is really the root chakra. And it's, I do chakra readings, and it's interesting that I see the chakras very differently than the traditional with the lotus flowers and the lotus petals and in those traditional colors. I see them as the energy centers that they are, but I see the front, the back, the sides, the bottom, the top, and they all symbolize different qualities in the chakras. And each chakra has its own set of qualities, as you are fully aware. And so I also, with the chakras, I see where the energy of our purpose is, our soul's purpose. And I see that in the back of the root chakra, but I see it in the back of the throat chakra. And it's bringing that energy forward. So yes, the throat chakra is about speaking our truth, feeling seen and heard, all that personal expression. And it's about expressing our soul's purpose fully. And we need to feel safe and stable in the world to do that.
And that's definitely the root chakra. That's where all the pains and traumas and all that's held. So it is very important to start with the base chakra. I love the fact that you talked about the throat chakra program, but you wrote a book, but you also have a program called the Client Magnet. Can we talk about that?
Yes, that was so interesting how that came about. All the work I've done, did I ever set a goal to do any of these things? No. It's like the universe is moving through me. And so I started working with coaches who maybe had a program that they started doing, a coaching program. I had the first coach I ever worked with, she had written a book. She started running her program and she had her first group. And then she didn't have anybody for 6 months, not one more client. And she was devastated. And she had spent a fortune on other programs. And I did a chakra reading for her, and I could see her potential. It's one of the coolest things about doing chakra readings is I can see where the energy is in people is just shining so brightly. And I knew I could help her. And within 6 or 7 weeks, she had a group together and she was back in business. And her business took a different turn, and she continued to work in that. And then I had another coaching client who wrote a book, wanted to run a program, and was all optimistic, had been working at it for 18 months.
Ooh.
Never once had a client.
Ooh.
She really needed help. And she had also spent thousands of dollars on programs. Same thing, within 6-7 weeks. She had her group together. Within 8 weeks, it was running. And I started to work with more coaches, and I was so inspired. And I thought, if I could help these coaches who are not getting their ideal clients, then I'm helping the world in a bigger way, because I'm helping to heal and empower coaches who are helping their clients. And I became very excited about it and started working with more and more coaches, which led to writing the book. And so it's helping to energetically attract clients. And I had a number of other authors who I got to know, and people would say, so where do you get your clients? Just like they fall out of the sky. Because we need to clear the blocks, the energetic blocks that prevent us from attracting those perfect clients for us, those souls that are meant to work with our soul. It's really at the soul level, and it is very much energetic. So I don't say, no, you don't have to do social media or anything. Sure, you have to do all those things. Do I do those things well? No, but I do them. I do those things like everybody else. And really, yeah, you get it, right?
I'm terrible with technology. I just have to put that out there. I'm pointing to myself. That's why I'm laughing, because technology is not my friend.
Yes. And so I give that to my VAs to do it. Like, you take care of that. You get the colors, the brand, and all that. But it's really showing up to help people in the best way that we can. And so that program has just been so rewarding to help these coaches really get beyond the blocks that were holding them back previously and really start to attract their ideal clients. So I help them clear their own energetic blocks. So that's the healing and the empowerment of learning to radiate all that they truly are and why their soul came to be here, and radiate that out in what they do, so their clients can find them. And that's really the big attraction. So I practice that myself, and I really do get my ideal clients, and I trust in the universe. So it's very
yes, it's so important to trust. And when people learn to trust, and that's part of those processes where people's obstacles block their minds, give them that distractionary syndrome, that shiny object syndrome, and they just start chasing everything and anything. And so, yes, you're absolutely right. I love the fact that you brought up trust. But the name of the program, I guess, is the Client Magnet. And so you're showing them how they can, I don't want to say let go, because it's not letting go, where they can detach the emotions from their experience and build on their foundation. Is that how you take them through the releasing of their obstacles and getting beyond their challenges?
It's a little bit like that, yes. And it's really helping them access the subconscious. So it's emotions that are stuck in the subconscious that are often rooted in early childhood, even as early as being in the womb, that we're not aware of. Everyone who does a client magnet program has a number of energetic blocks within them that they're not aware of. And so it's helping to pull that out of the subconscious and create the space to express more of who they truly are. And so then there's the empowerment piece, is a reprogramming of the subconscious. And so they're just different. I don't do the mindset work. It's mostly working at a subconscious level, and then people start showing up. I remember my first client magnet client, and we just started doing the work. And then she said, I can't believe it. I belong to this group. And I raised my hand and shared something this one day, and a woman private messaged her and said, you're amazing. I want to work with you. How do I do that? It was just like that. And that's what they say, like, people can start to fall in your lap because you're energetically receptive and you radiate. So it's that really attracts the people. Can it be through social media? Can it be through speaking? Absolutely. But it's the energy, the energetic flow.
I love that. I love that. But your Azarius program, can we talk about that? Because I'm kind of curious, where did Azarius come from?
So my Azarius energy healing program is an online energy healing program. And I had been doing energy healings online for a number of years. And I had, especially once I got going with my client magnet program and the throat chakra, I had a number of clients ask me, so when are you going to teach what you do? Like, do you teach that? And I would say, no, I don't teach it. And when are you going to? And it didn't feel right until one day, a woman in my throat chakra program, she was finishing it up, and she asked me, and she said, I know I've asked you this before, but I think I'm an energy healer. I wonder when you'll ever teach how to do the kind of energy healing that you do. And I combine a number of modalities, which many energy healers do. They learn multiple modalities and they create their own. So I'm not so unique in that way. And yet, because I spent almost 3 decades doing so much of my own, internal healing. And all my programs are
Mhm.
about becoming your own energy healer, own energy worker. It was when she asked me, I just felt the pull so strongly in my heart. Okay, now is the time. All
Mhm.
right. And I meditated on it just to confirm. And then I emailed the people, some of the people who I could remember had asked me. And next thing I know, I had a group together and we were off to the races, so to speak. And so that has been so rewarding. That has been so rewarding. And this time I'm actually including in it instruction on how to do chakra readings. So I want to teach everybody how to do chakra readings, and not just individual energy healing, but group energy healing, because we have the capacity to heal multiple people at one time. And I include that in all my programs. And thank you for asking where the word Azarius came from. So it had a different name when it first came out. And after the first program, I had one of my clients, a student in the program, said, I need two things from you. One, I need a different name for this. Like, I say your name and the name of the program, I had intuitive something energy, and it was like 6 words. So it was way too long. She said, I need something shorter. And I said, oh, okay. And she said, and I need to belong to an organization. Like, for me to just say, oh, it's Cheryl. Cheryl, she said, it's not good enough. And it was, I think, about a year and a half before my husband said to me, you're going to end up starting a spiritual school. And I said, no, I will never do that. You couldn't pay me to do that. Never. And then I meditated and I just got the strongest guidance. It was time to start a spiritual school. I was like, all right. And so it's really, I still got in my own way. I feel like sometimes I'm the queen of resistance.
The awareness is amazing, and it's having that awareness that makes a difference. But how many times did you say no and the universe said yes, Cheryl, yes? And you're going, no, no, and they're dragging you into this, and you're going, okay, I get it. And that's usually how it happens.
It's exactly how it's happened to me every step of the way. I've resisted, and then I catch myself resisting because it's hard. It's not easy. It's not easy. And so we really work strongly with Archangel Raphael. We learn to merge to actually shapeshift. So I bring the shamanic practice in of shapeshifting. And I discovered that there's this lovely story of Archangel Raphael coming to the earth and disguised himself as a human being. And his name was Azarius. And he helped this other fellow, Tobias, accomplish some goal, some mission. But he was disguised as a human being. And so I use the name Azarius because we're all like Archangel Raphael, the ultimate healer, the archangel of healing. And so it's that energy moving through us that we can become greater healers. I've always, or for many years, realized it's not me doing the healing. I raise my vibration, I move into an altered state, and that's what I teach people. And so the Azarius name, it came to me in a matter of minutes. Within 10 minutes of meditating, I got the name of the healing program and the name of the school. Star of Divine Light Institute is the name of the school.
I was going to go there next because it was like, let's show everybody the Star of Divine Light and how it all came about. And you just explained. So it is amazing to be able to take that evolution in the process. So I have a question about your meditating. Do you listen to guided meditation? Do you sit in silence? Do you do deep breathing in your meditation? Just curious, because I have a lot of people that follow my page that are healers. And so I know what I do. And I'm just curious what you do for your meditation, because there's so many variances to it.
There are. Thank you for asking that, Chris. Nobody has ever asked me that question. It feels a little personal, but yet that's what I share with everybody. So I do not listen to guided meditations ever.
I don't either. That's why I'm asking, because so many is like, oh, well, go to YouTube and watch this video. It'll make you feel better. I'm like, what?
And you can. And so what I do in all my programs, I record the meditations, and then I encourage people to do their own, because with a guided meditation, it helps us stay focused. And I work very much with the full breath, because lower abdominal breathing deeply helps us access the subconscious. And it's actually the hardest part to learn, hardest part to get the hang of, especially if people suffer from anxiety where they hold their breath. I'm sure I know you're very familiar with that. And so I do breathe fully, and I recommend that. And also I recommend sitting in a straight posture with your feet on the floor, not cross-legged. Mm-hmm. I've done upward meditation, I've done downward meditation, sideways, everything, as have you, and even a lot of, through studying shamanism and practicing for many years, leaving the body and going on journeys and doing all that. So I find now I believe that everything is within us. We don't have to leave the body. Mm-hmm. And that's where I choose to practice, but very much the full breath with a focus. And so I do a number of things in my meditation, and I practice the merging and shape-shifting it's not just raise my vibration, but step into my greatness, which is the greatness of the universe, God's greatness of all beings, mm-hmm. and to feel into that. And so I still work with the chakras. I started working with the chakras, almost 30 years ago. And I also really follow the chakras along the inside of the spine. And so I like to meditate 45 minutes to an hour. And then the work I do during the day when I'm doing the energy healings, that's meditation very much. It's high level mm-hmm. meditation. And I love to do the chakra readings because that's high level meditation. I don't use my third eye for any of that, because
I'm glad you brought that up, because I don't either. A lot of people get their third eye hypervigilant because they think it's all that, like that Lord of the Rings all-seeing eye, and it's flipping around. I don't use my third eye for any of that.
Seriously, neither do I.
And I love the fact that I'm just saying that's a rare understanding, though, to have that clarity.
Yes. And in the chakra readings I see immediately when someone has developed their third eye. And sometimes I even see this perfect indigo blue eye, and sometimes cut like a crystal. And sometimes it's pure white light, and I can tell where people are working. And one of the things that I haven't seen a lot of, but I have seen, if people meditate on the chakras and they just focus on the color, all you get is an imprint of the color on the chakra. It does nothing to help your chakra. And then I have to kind of push that out of the way to get a true sense of the chakra. So when I do a chakra reading, Chris, if I were to do a chakra reading on you, I become you. Mm-hmm. I shapeshift, I merge with a higher being. It might be Archangel Raphael, other saints or masters, to help raise myself up. And I become you. We're all one. So I'm looking at your chakras inside me, but I am you. And it's that experience. I don't have to go out. I don't have to look here. And it's not, because it's really the heart chakra. It's all the chakras. It's the entire being. A woman said to me, "Can you read my Merkaba?" Which is kind of like the aura, right?
I know what a Merkaba is.
I said, I don't know. I've never done it before, but I'm pretty sure I can. And so I just did it mm-hmm. because I can. It's if we just practice the skills and go by this basis of unity consciousness, then we can discover so much about other people, all their wonderful qualities, and even what their wounds are, so we can have compassion for them and see where the growth curve is.
Yes, I love that, Cheryl. I do, because the fact is so many people because they've commercialized it so much, that they want to read this book, or they heard somebody say this or somebody say that, and it was taken out of context and repeated and repeated and repeated. All of a sudden, this is gospel. And it's like, okay, just do me a favor, sit back, take a deep, deep yoga breath in and hold it. And count to 10, and we're going to talk about this, because there are so many misconceptions out there. So I love the fact that you're actually bringing this up and talking about it, because there's, everybody says there's a specific way you have to meditate. There's a specific way that you have to access the galaxies, the underworld, the middle world, the higher world. And it's not, there isn't. It is what fits you. And I love the fact that you're very transparent about it, because so am I. Because there's people out there who have never had a spiritual experience and one day just know. They don't have to have that experience. It processes through them. I'm a clinical hypnotherapist, so I love the fact that you do go into the subconscious, because that's where it all lies. And most people don't realize that. And it is their pains, their traumas, their experiences, and the boundaries that they didn't keep for themselves that created attachments and contracts. And when you try to explain it to people, they look at you like, okay, what planet are you from? What are you talking about? I'm like, oh my goodness, what are we doing here? This is why I created this podcast, is to show what people do every day that makes a difference in people's lives and for themselves. And again, mine started out, I've had 3 near-death experiences in my life. I don't know if you know that. And in those near-death experiences, one I was 4, one I was 16, and one I was in 2012. And every time I've had a near-death experience, I've wanted to hang out with the Creator. And every time he's palm pumped me back into my body saying, I'm not ready for you yet. You have a purpose. You haven't done it yet. So, and when I say, that the Creator palm pumped me, I literally mean I was that thick-headed kid, and he literally palm pumped me out of there, because I was just like, it's so nice. I don't want to go. I want to stay here. So I love the fact that you have that clarity too, because most people don't get to those levels in their spiritual practice or in their discipline. And that's what you were talking about there at the end, was the discipline that you've put into your life to be able to help people put discipline in their lives, in their spiritual practice. And that's key.
Yes, it is key. It absolutely is. And yes, I've had the near-death experiences as well. And sometimes that's what it takes to get us to listen. That's what it took me. It's actually a little embarrassing. It's like,
well, I'm transparent. I'm a thick-headed kid. It was the life. It was everything that growing up. I mean, my parents abandoned 6 kids when I was 8. And I grew up in an orphanage. So it's like, oh, wow. Okay. But you don't look like a throwaway kid. You don't look like an abandoned kid. Well, what does an abandoned kid look like?
Mm-hmm.
Let's get beyond the labels and the identity issues and all the chaos. What does that look like? And so, when most people who haven't had near-death experiences don't have any clue, and they're seeing the white lights, they're seeing everything that's Hollywood, and it's not necessarily like Hollywood.
No, and sometimes it can be, and really the near-death experience is a wake-up call always. Mm-hmm. And I remember one near-death experience when I was at the top of a mountain in Uganda after seeing the mountain gorillas, and the brakes failed, and we almost went flying over this cliff. And the driver pulled the emergency brake, and we hit the wall, and we flew up in the air and rolled 4 times, smashing down. We're upside down. No one's wearing seat belts. And we're skidding down this narrow dirt road, and we stopped about 3 feet away, and it was life-changing. It was life-changing. And I knew, I asked God to please save us. God, please save us. And I knew after that I had something very important to do. I knew beyond the shadow of a doubt. I did not know what it was. And you know what I'm talking about. You know exactly what I'm talking about. And what I've discovered, like you, I've done so many trainings. And in all the trainings, the facilitator, the teacher teaches, it needs to be this way. No, not that way. And it's one of the things that I really sort of pride myself on. It's not just my way. I try and honor if someone else has a different experience than me and they find another method or a way of doing something that moves energy, I really try and honor that. And my long-term goal is to help people develop their own energy healing modalities, that they teach that to the right souls, those souls that really want to work with them. And it's the energy healing and that's for the self. through meditation and the energy healing for others that I think humanity is just yearning for, this kind of healing and empowerment. So I'll be starting a foundation, and that's my thing, is to fund energy healers to go to other parts of the world, to developing countries, and teach energy healing, teach healing and empowerment, so that that can spread.
I love that. I'm actually on a spiritual journey of going to all the physical locations of the chakras of Mother Earth and the vortices that they are on, or that support them. And in that, it's for humanity. It's to harmonize humanity with Mother Earth using the chakras. So we have a lot of parallel understandings of life, more so than you knew. And who knew? You know, I always say it's a small world. And it's getting smaller by the day. But when you see people as humanity, and not by their behaviors, not by their color, not by their gender, not by their race or color, their creed, but you see them as human beings.
I love this work that you're doing. I was very aware of that.
Oh, okay.
And so, I just think that's fantastic. It's so powerful. It's so powerful what you're doing.
But I want to thank you. I want to create a documentary to help educate kids, because they don't teach this in the schools. And so that's it. By you doing the foundation, I'm doing the flip side of that, and that's getting the exposure and understanding of it. And so much is hidden science using quantum physics. So much spirituality is hidden. And I use the placebo effect as an understanding of energy healing, because if I give you a pill and you trust me enough to take this pill and take it in you, and you envision that pill healing you, and it's a sugar pill, you just use that energy to heal yourself. And so that, like you're 27, I'm 45 years into this practice, and we're still doing for humanity. And that's what I love. That speaks volumes. That it just raises the vibration even more. And if more can connect together, your world with my world, with other people of like-mindedness, what vibrations could we create that could help turn the intolerance, the ignorance, the hate around to love and compassion and empathy? So can you give my customers, or my clients, my audience, because I have all of them listening, 3 tips that they could use in their life today?
So the 3 tips, number 1 is to access your own energetic blocks within your subconscious, however that is, whether it's through hypnotherapy. Don't be afraid to reach out to someone else. For me, I've done it in meditation, energy healing, whatever the modality is, even journaling. A lot of people journal, but do your best to access those subconscious blocks. And the way I find they work is the most superficial level is at the level of the mind. We have thoughts. And then the next level is the physical sensations. So a lot of times people will have physical sensations while they're meditating. Oh, my shoulders started to hurt, or I started to feel this tension in my side or my belly. That's your body speaking to you. Pay attention. Go inward, reflect on it, meditate, whatever that is for you. So number 1 is access, and then find a way to move that energy, whether it's working with someone, working on your own. It's clear those blocks, that will take you so far. And like you said, Chris, yes, it's all for humanity. And most of us start with ourselves. Like I used to think, I had friends that would say, you're a healer, you're a spiritual teacher. I was just like, no, I have enough in working on myself that keeps me busy enough. And that was the existence right in the beginning. But also start with yourself and know that you can do it. We all have the capacity to heal ourselves, all of us. And yes, it's great to have help by somebody else. Find what modality works for you, access those blocks, and then move the energy. That's step number 2. Learn how to clear the energy in whatever way feels right to you, where you feel results, where you start to experience results. And then step number 3 is don't forget the empowerment. The
Mm.
empowerment piece is so vital. And it's the piece I missed out on for it. Yes, it happens naturally. And we can use energy to create more empowerment.
Mm-hmm.
God, the universe, source, whatever word you want to use, wants to move through us all in the greatest ways and wants to support us in the divine creation in our own unique way. And it's about opening up to that more and more. And that's where the empowerment piece comes in. And it's really the greatest sense of freedom. If you want freedom, it's, what do they say in AA? Letting go and letting God.
Yeah.
But it's really source, the universe, God moving through us in a unique way. And the more we open up to that and get out of the way, the more joy, freedom, and love we're going to experience on this earth, and power.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing.
It is amazing. We didn't talk about one of your books. I'm going to back up here. The Coach's Guide to Attracting Ideal Clients. Can we talk about that?
Yeah, that's the client magnet program.
Okay, I thought you had the client. I thought you had the client magnet, the book, the client magnet, and then the client magnet or the Coach's Guide.
Yes, it's one book. That's the tag.
Okay, I wasn't sure.
Sorry about that.
Okay.
Chris.
And then you have the book on the throat chakra program.
Yes.
So in all of this that you do, have you ever regretted taking this discipline because it's hard work? Have you ever said, "Oh no, not today. I'm throwing the towel in. I'm throwing the towel in. I'm done. I stick a fork in me. I'm done." Have you ever had that emotion?
No, not to that extent. There have been times where it's difficult. Anything worthwhile is difficult. I've never wanted to give up. Like, even if I go there, I bounce back out of it immediately.
Or you get shown something different, like, okay, this is what you're going through. And so guess what? This is temporary. So don't give up. Turn back around. You've got lots to do. It's like you keep getting redirected. I see you getting, it's like, because I have never, and the reason why I asked this question is I have never given up on it either.
Yeah, it's I get close, but I never get there. I may get close at the odd time. And yes, it's true. We get redirected, and it's sort of like, I think I'm in the same place. I don't know what to expect. I can't plan for the greatness that the universe is planning for me. I'm not that creative. I can't dream that big. So people say dream big. Sure, I have tried to dream big, but it's sort of like most of my clients, after they've worked with me for a while, I ask them, I say, did you ever think you would become who you are today? Did you even dream or imagine that it could be this good? And they always say, no, I couldn't imagine it, because we don't have the experience to what it's like to really be that person we're becoming, that we're designed to be, and to really feel that. And so it's a lot of surrender.
Yes.
I incorporate into all my work, there's the piece of surrender, of allowing ourselves to be held, allowing ourselves to be healed, allowing ourselves to be empowered, and opening up and surrendering to our greatness and the universe moving through us. It really is. It's so powerful to really surrender at a spiritual level.
It is, because my father's Native American, and so I have my own mixture of shamanic practicing. I'm also a Ho'oponopono advanced practitioner and a belief resistant on top of a clinical hypnotherapist, but I'm also a criminal profiler. So I understand the human psyche. So when using all of these modalities, because of the work that I was involved in for 40 years, I dealt with the criminal element. Mm-hmm. And so the fact is so I walked a dual life. I couldn't tell anybody that I was psychic, that I was telepathic, that I was intuitive. I couldn't speak anything because it was black and white. It's all about the law, ma'am. It's all about the law. So when I finally retired last May, all of a sudden I became this bull in the china shop. It's like, I got a voice. I'm going to reach out. I'm going to be speaking. I don't know what I'm going to be doing, but I'm going to be doing something to help people get their messages out, because there's millions of people in this country alone that do such amazing stuff that nobody hears about every day. So
Well,
I just want to say, I want to honor you for one, being a shamanic practitioner and sticking with it, because so many people, no matter what their religion is or their culture is, they get to that point where they get frustrated and they walk away instead of reflecting.
so true. It's just been such an honor on your podcast with you. Thank you so much, Chris.
You're welcome. You're welcome. But here's I ask this of everybody that comes on my podcast, to sit back, take a deep breath, close your eyes, and connect with your 5-year-old inner child. And what would she say about you today?
Oh, my 5-year-old inner child. It's so interesting that I'm working with my 5-year-old.
Most shamanic practitioners do.
And she is, what she would say to me is, she's just so grateful to be working with God, the universe, source, at the level that I'm working. She is just eternally grateful, and the amount of love and light that I've grown in capacity to have moved through me is just so rewarding and so exciting and so empowering.
I love that. And she's also saying that it got rid of the chaos that was in your life. And in that chaos, it wasn't that you were stuck. It's just you were trying to go from one chaos to another chaos and try to organize it. And there's no organization to chaos. It's surviving chaos is what it actually is. And most people don't realize that. So Cheryl, I honor you. I honor you. And I thank you for being here. I thank you for sticking with your practice and being authentic and transparent, because so many people, when they are authentic with themselves and transparent with themselves, like asking you about your meditation practices, again, why wouldn't somebody ask you that? That's a big part of your modality, is that going within and getting in touch. So I was a little surprised when you said nobody has ever asked me that. I'm like, well, who are you talking to? You know? So again, I love to laugh. I love to understand. And I love that I can bring people like you on my podcast to share their knowledge, to share what they do in their world and how it helps people. So again, from humanity and from the planet, thank you. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you so much, Chris. Absolutely an honor and a privilege.
Hang on one second. I got to get my paperwork here. It slid. Wow. I am beyond excited to have Cheryl here. I've been beyond. This is my favorite subject on the planet, the universe. And I didn't know how deep this conversation was going to go. So Cheryl, I honor you and thank you. But it takes a special kind of individual to dream their thoughts, their ideas, and turning them into the reality. Cheryl Stelte, you have done just that. You've stepped past your fears. You stayed the course. You had the courage to do the follow through to the end. Cheryl, you've championed yourself. Now we know who you've become. Thank you from my heart of hearts for you sharing your ideas and your thoughts and your dreams with us here today.